Hello Newcastle fans, TV, I'm back. Yeah, I've had a couple of days rest. Will done the England review because I had toothache and I thought I'd have the night off from YouTube last night because I've been doing it every night. So we're just going to run you through the past 7 days at the club and what's been going on behind the scenes, just brief stories, because obviously the news is pretty quiet at the moment amongst the club whilst it's international break as well. So we're going to begin with Monday and then we'll run through to Sunday as well. So we'll just talk about it dead briefly. So Monday began with the rumours again of Napoli being interested in Alexander Mitrovic. So it's not the first time that this has been brought up. His agent actually come out and said that it's unlikely that it's going to happen. We'll review it at the end of the season. So agent talk as per usual. But it's nice that his actually agent has said no, it's not true. He's going to be remaining at the club. Although he did say until the end of the season, which I presume he wants to stir the pot again in the summer in case Mitrovic isn't getting any first team football. But we should be in the Premier League by that time anyways. The under 23s, they played on Monday. They won again for the third consecutive game. They won 2-1, which was pretty much a comfortable win, although the scoreline doesn't suggest that. Newcastle won 2-1. And obviously Jack Hunt has obviously come out and said that he wants to keep the momentum going as well, so it's nice to hear that from the captain. Sean Longstaff scored again. The man is literally on fire. We've talked about him on the channel before, and Luke Charman also scored as well. Rafa brought the lads in on Monday and then he gave them most of them a couple of days off to go and do whatever you want. I think I've seen Vernon and Anita's Instagram that he was on a plane, so I'm presuming he probably went back to Amsterdam for a couple of days as well. So that was Monday. Moving on to Tuesday, which was quite a fairly quiet day amongst the news. We're seeing Isaac Hayden and DeAndre Yedlin come out and say that although Newcastle won on Saturday against Cardiff, it felt like it was a defeat because of the performance as well. And the big news that happened on Tuesday, of course, was the John Joe Shelby one where he's been charged by the FA. Obviously, I've already done a video on the channel, so check that out if you haven't seen it. So he's been charged for discrimination or insulting Wolves Moroccan midfielder Romain Saiss. So we'll probably hear from that later on in this week to see what the situation is, whether he pleads guilty, whether they fight it. I believe that the club at the moment are still working on behind the scenes of what proof that the FA could have, and then they'll make the decision. The likelihood, although it says it's up to 5 games, it's probably, if Shelby contests it, it'll probably go down to 4 if he finds out to be guilty. But if he is guilty, throw the book at him. There's no place for it in football for racism. If it is racism, we don't know yet, I'm speculating. Wednesday, quite a big day for me personally. What happened on Wednesday, I met Lee Ryder, so I went to the Chronicle HQ. The video's on the channel as well, so that was I was a little bit nervous going, I'm not going to lie, but as soon as we got in the room, started talking football, the nerves just literally went out the window. So it's a good experience for me, and I've got hopefully a couple more journalists lined up as well. So hopefully I'll also hear back from the club about players as well, hopefully as well, but you never know. Later on that day as well, I came back home, then back out in Newcastle to meet Will, and we're doing podcasts as well with Ford Have Mercy chipping in as well with voice clips. Apologise for those who have seen it on YouTube. It went live by mistake for about an hour, so apologise about that. That was an unedited version of it. So it's on a website now. It's been published on a website, which is great, but we're just waiting on iTunes because it's under review for iTunes. Hopefully that goes on iTunes, then we'll make the video public. It's over. It's like an hour and 7 minutes long. It's like a proper podcast on everything about the club as well. So a couple of people who have seen it have said that they liked it as well. So it's something different that we're trying to get the brand Newcastle Fans TV out there as well. The same day, this rumour won't go away. Dundalk winger Darren Hogan, has been linked to Newcastle, and he said he wouldn't turn down a club of Newcastle stature. He's 24-year-old. He's a recent Irish international. Question for you though, is he the answer for our wingers? I wouldn't want to go there. I know I haven't seen the lad play because obviously I don't watch the Irish League. For me, I think it's equivalent of like League 2 conference, but is he good enough to play for Newcastle in the Premier League? Because you've got to remember, we've got Atsu, we've got Gouffran, we've got Richie, we've got Aaron's, so I don't want that to happen personally for me. And of course, we sold out another away fixture again. Leeds game is sold out as well. Newcastle have just got a reputation of selling out every home game because we've got amazing fans as well. Moving on to Thursday, It's quite, again, a quiet day. The only major story to come out on Thursday was that the Premier League announced that from next season, which you would think Newcastle would be in, that away fans need to be seated initially pitch side. Again, I've done a video on the channel about that, so check that out as well. So that was the big news that come out, which will affect seatings and home fans as well. Will probably have to be moved around as well for that. Moving on to Friday, which was a very busy day for Newcastle. We'll start with Elias Fritjof Sorensen. If you don't know who he is, he's a young Danish lad that was signed in the summer. Big things are expected of him. He was actually training with the first team, and to be fair, a lot of the other youth players were as well. He's been coming out saying that it was a great experience. You know, Jamal Lascelles was asking him a lot of questions. How old is he? What does he do? What does he do in his spare time? And so on and so on. And speaking of Jamal Lascelles, he actually turned 23 on Friday as well. So happy birthday, Jamal, after our captain as well. Rafa Benitez won Manager of the Month on Friday, so it's fantastic to see. Well done, Rafa. 4 wins on the spot in October. So great form for Newcastle. It was only really going to be one win after winning 4 in a row, you know. Also, Ayoze Perez's goal against Ipswich has been nominated for Goal of the Month. You know, one where it was literally straight from kick-off, where literally I think it's every single Newcastle member had a touch of the ball and it went flying into the end of the net. So a fabulous goal, and that's been nominated. Some positive news about Tim Krul. I know he's out on loan at Ajax, but he's made his first game back since being injured whilst away with the Holland after 13 months ago when he suffered that knee injury. And I was actually watching that game. It was something like Kazakhstan it was. He actually played for the reserves, so it's nice to see that he's back in action. I know he's out on loan, but Tim Krul actually like him because he's a Geordie. Right, he's a Geordie, you know. Going on to one other story on Friday as well, that the away fixture with Hull and the EFL Cup will be being back to St James's Park. So what that means is in the Leazes Bar, it's the Terrace Bar, the 9 Bar, Newcastle will be showing that game live. All you've got to do, I think the tickets go live. I think you can get the tickets from Tuesday. You've got to be over 18 to go in there, obviously, to bar. So you can get free tickets. I'm going to get mine as well. So if you've got nobody to go with, get in touch with us if you want to come along. I think you're allowed up to 4 tickets each as well. So that was Friday. Moving on to the weekend, yesterday, which was Saturday, a report came out from Leola 1, if I pronounced that right, claimed that Newcastle had a scout watching Austria versus Ireland. So again, that could be linked with the Dundalk winger Hogan, or Newcastle could be monitoring one of the Austrian players perhaps as well. Go and get David Alaba, man. Go on, Rafa. No chance of that happening. Sadly, the under-18s lost 4-0 against Manchester United at Little Benton. Disappointing result, but it's Man United. They've got cream the crop of youngsters. So several players were away on international duty. Obviously the Scotland game and so on. Mitrovic scoring for Serbia as well. I'm going to be doing an international report later on in the week as well, so do keep an eye out for that. Today, Sunday, or yesterday, depending if you're watching this on Monday, is that the Chronicle claim that Newcastle have been looking at 19-year-old Nigerian defender Wilfred Ndidi, who can also play in midfield. He currently plays for Genk as well. Scored a great goal. It's on YouTube if you YouTube it. It's from 30 yards, half volley, top corner as well. So I don't know about that one. Maybe that's something that we're just looking at the time being, because do we need another defender? Maybe, we'll probably need another defence midfielder if Cheick Tiote, or when Cheick Tiote goes, is probably better. And of course, more international players were on duty today for the likes of Christian Atto was in action again, but again, Chancellor and Bembal. But I'll cover all of that. Adam Armstrong score, and I'll cover all of that later on this week. So that's the news this week over the 7 days. Thank you very much for watching Newcastle Fans TV, and we'll see you later.